everybody, I'm Nick, and welcome to VHS Plays Super Mario Land. But it's not just VHS Plays Super Mario Land. It's VHS Plays the special features of the Super Game Boy 2. So, one of the main things that it allows you to do is, hey look, we can change the color palette. And it gives us a whole slew of palettes for us to choose one from. Like, we even got, like, good old gray there. But the color palette I'll end up settling on is over here towards the end of on H4H. It's pretty much Game Boy green, which I thought would be fitting for playing a Game Boy game. There's also a whole bunch of border styles you can also select from. So you're gonna have like no border at all. But there's a whole bunch of other little borders here too, like we could have a circuit board here. We've got a relaxing like palm trees and stuff. You've got this weird mural looking background. We've got gears. Honestly, that tickles my fancy a little. I like it. We've got Louisiana. We've got sea life. And then lastly, we have a Coliseum for whatever reason. I'll get to that other one there in just a moment. Let's go ahead, and we've got control styles as well. I stick to control type B because it's a little easier for me to use. Actually, no, it's type A, that's right. But another thing you can do is you can make your own palettes if you want. So you select one of the 4 Game Boy colors and then you tie a color to it. Unfortunately, there's no good way to save that password other than writing it down, and it is such a pain trying to actually figure it out. So I don't usually bother with that sort of thing, so I'm just mucking around here for a bit. Mucking around with toggles, and yeah, that's really garish, but when I actually lower it, I'm like, that's not the worst palette in the world, I think. You can also erase your palette, so you, like, get it out of here. And then the last thing you can do is make your own custom border. It won't be savable, of course, but you can have fun doodling around with a control pad. I have no idea if this works with the Super Nintendo mouse, because I don't own one at the time. But I have no idea. They really wanted to get crafty because there was also, you know, Mario Paint on the Super Nintendo. So that's neat. And so this particular tool here is you draw lines, and then once you hit the bomb, it erases all of what you drew through. Kind of an interesting tool. But this is how you use custom backgrounds for the Super Game Boy. But I'm not going to be done with just the Super Game Boy 2. But we're going to switch back over to the Game Boy border here. Because I didn't just record a playthrough of Super Mario Land on the Super Game Boy, per se. Well, the Super Game Boy 2. Well, that flub just kind of gave it away. Hang on, edit. Get over here. Come on. Man, I'm slow with the edits. There it goes. Here's the original Super Game Boy we got in the US. So the main differences between the two is the Super Game Boy 2 is Japan only, but it is possible to play on an American Super Nintendo if you take a couple of tabs out of the cartridge slot. All the main features here are the same, so I think you actually have the same default color palettes. I don't recall. But I do still stick with the same Game Boy green for this as well. This full video actually will be going up on the second channel, so if you want to watch both playthroughs in one video, you can do that. But the main differences between the two are the borders are... There's a different selection of borders. The ones they share are, well, the Game Boys are technically different, but the way they're styled is very similar. But they both share the lack of border, so you can do that. And they also share the custom border you can make as well. But you'll see it a bit during the snippets of gameplay I interweave in, but the clock speed of the Super Game Boy is slightly higher than it should be. So it'll run slightly faster, and some sounds are slightly off. So if you've ever noticed that while playing on a Super Game Boy back in the day, yeah, it didn't sound quite right. And from what I've read on the internet, the clock speed on the Super Game Boy 2 is not quite accurate, but it's much closer, to say the least. But yeah, I'm just showing here that all these tools are basically the same. But yeah, one thing I forgot to show is that there's a whole bunch more palette colors you can pick from. So yeah, there's a lot you can do with the palette customizer there. Sad there's no battery backup for that sort of thing, but it's already an entire freaking Game Boy in there. So what more can you really fit in? Oh yeah, I forgot the one other difference between the two is the Super Game Boy 2 has a link cable port. It's the same as the Game Boy Pocket and Game Boy Color, so those type of cables will work. So yeah, that way you can actually link Pokemon games together, and you can do link battles and trades on the big screen. It's fun times. I've used this peripheral before, and I'm going to be using it more in the future too, so that'll be fun. This is the first time you'll be seeing the Super Game Boy 2 in the VHS Plays series, and I will tell you this right now, it will not be the last. So I'm just having myself a little fun with the palettes, but we're going to go back to the Game Boy border. And then we're going to get this train wreck a-rolling, shall we? So flick us on back over to Super Game Boy 2, please. Thank you. There we go. Let's begin the game proper. Super Mario Land is a weird game. It's the only game that I can think of where when you collect a power-up, the screen doesn't actually freeze for a moment. The one-ups are hearts. And then this is the Super Ball Flower. They bounce around. It's neat, isn't it? So yeah, the Koopas are weird too.
Nani?
Yeah, the Koopas explode. It's weird. This whole game is just weird, but I love it for it. Anywho, the physics in this game were a little whack. But yeah, I just thought it would be funny to freeze frame for a bit on how the game loads graphics. So Mario's just kind of hanging out there. It's kind of weird. And then we have these other fly-like enemies, so that's weird. And also, here's the can-can straight up. If you slow it down, you can absolutely hear the can-can. And specifically with the arranged OST, it's just straight up the can-can. There's nothing more I can really say about it. And at the end of basically every level, you can get into one of two entrances. So the top exit will always take you to a bonus game, where you can either get a Super Ball Flower or some number of one-ups. And there's a ladder that can throw you off. Like this. And all you do is push a button to choose what you want. Anyway, here's the difference of the audio. But it'll just keep going until you push the button. I just let it play here for a bit just because, you know, sounds are funny. And I actually scored 2 lives here. Not too bad. Yeah, I'm just showing more frames of... Man, the game loads weird. And another thing about the structure of this game is there's only 12 levels in the entire game. 4 worlds with 3 levels each. And yeah, I didn't do that hit right. And down here, there's a hidden one-up, so you might want to grab that for yourself if you're playing a little reckless, like I end up doing in the Super Game Boy 1 playthrough. Yeah, I try to be funny and, you know, try to combo them, but I fail, so but they don't get to live anyway. It really is weird how the screen doesn't freeze whenever you get a power-up, so be careful about that. And this middle block here also hides a 1-up. They gave you 2 in this level. It's kind of convenient. And here are some blocks here that fall when you step on them. They're not like the donut blocks that take a moment to fall. They're very rude like that. Here we've got some more bonus game, and I end up going into a Super Ball flower that I did not need. Also, do you like Egyptian pyramids? I certainly do for theming. I love this music, by the way. I also love the rendition that's in this Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Yeah. Anyway, there's some secret platforms here that you can use to get onto the ceiling. They're otherwise you'd be like, how do I get these coins? And then there's also some blocks that'll try to fall on you. If you're playing this on, say, a Game Boy Color or a Game Boy player, those blocks are way more obvious. And now here with the mummy enemy, there's actually another one of those hidden blocks that will raise you up to the ceiling. And up here is a pipe. When you go in, yup, hidden coins for you. If you can't reach those coins up top, just use your Super Ball to collect them all. I probably should have brought that up earlier, but oh well. Some more graphics, loading, shenanigans. I'm just being funny. It's not actually something I ever noticed until actually looking through the recording of this. It's really funny. And then there's a bunch of these blocks here that'll come to try and fall on you. And then there's one more hidden power up here if you've already acquired a super mushroom. And that is telling me this ain't gonna bode well now, isn't it? Yep, I get squeezed. And then loading shenanigans and I get blasted in the face. How funny. I should have just jumped over you. If you have Super Balls, you can throw them in its face and kill it if you want. But now I decided to do some funny gags for every time we find Princess Daisy. Thank you, Mario. Oh, Daisy.
Get out.
Piss off, Bug. Yeah, we're having some Mimi fun. And that's gonna be the last of the frames I do for, like, loading in. But now, we're on to SeaWorld. Yes, we come in via UFO. Did I mention this game is very bizarre? Because, I'm not gonna stop saying that. But also, I won't stop saying, we love this game for it. The bridges are weird, the fish are jumping out at you. So just weave your way through, collect coins, and collect more can stars. What can I say? Jump through the fish, and even the seahorses that shoot fireballs at you. And then to navigate this, you gotta find hidden blocks. Those will just be normal blocks for now, but some variants of this room might have a coin block for you. So keep your eyes peeled. So yeah, just do your best to try and weave through. There's a one up there if you're able to break that block. So probably would be in your best interest to break it. But we're pretty much done with this part of SeaWorld. And they definitely try to change up every time you try to get to the top gate. It's definitely fun. But now at this point I'm just skipping to whenever I collect bonuses. And for the second part of SeaWorld, we have these weird mechanical guys that'll be able to throw their heads at you. It will definitely pay to try and not rush too much, unlike me, where I try to do this and then I slip off and die. Yeah, don't be rushing me. We love coin rooms in this house. We love them in this house! If you have Super Ball, it's very easy to collect them all. Otherwise, you will have to make choices as to what you get, because you can't really do crouch jumps in this game. So, best come with the Super Ball if you want to be able to collect every single coin in these types of bonus rooms. And then this is one of the few areas in the game where they actually give you an alternate route, but only if you're small Mario. So I go ahead and show that off. But yeah, there's some Goombas down here, but that's all that'll really threaten you. And then I'll show up here for a bit for what is on the top. You can get a star, but I end up wasting my star time because I'm trying to check what's in all the blocks. And all you really get is, well, the star and a super mushroom. well, super mushroom slash block. And then here's a variant of this room where there's actually a coin block, so I'll go ahead and show that off. And then Mario will be on his merry way. Just like this. Aren't secrets funny? And then here's a way to actually skip this process here. You don't have to deal with those blocks because, like in Mario 1, you can't go left. And now, here's one of 2 shmup levels in the game. Yeah, for whatever reason, we decided to go into a submarine, and one more vehicle later. This track is usually called Sea Pop and Sky Pop. So, take half a guess of what the other vehicle we're going to use is. Oh yeah, the octopus likes to shoot blasts at you whenever you kill it, so be careful about that. And there will only be super mushrooms in these levels because you can always shoot. Yeah, for whatever reason, they decided to go back to their shooter roots. Because one of Nintendo's old arcade games was basically a Space Invaders clone. I don't know why, but here we are. And because we can shoot, this boss is basically a joke. See, it's already dead. How do you like that? So let's go ahead and clear this place and, get on out. We're gonna see good old Princess Daisy once again. It'll surely not be a trap after all, right, guys? Right?
Whoa!
Could have fooled me on that one.
Hi, how are you?
Just the normal reaction to going to Easter Island after crossing the sea. Like any other Mario game. Like, no, seriously, this is the only game where there's anything like Easter Island related whatsoever. Once again, I'm gonna say it. It's weird and I love it for it. Oh yeah, we also get introduced to bullet bills, and there are several different types of, Easter Island heads that are here to get ya. Some will run fast, others will jump pretty leisurely. There's also a hidden one-up, so don't be afraid to go ahead and grab that. And then at this particular point, I'm actually able to lag the game, which is hilarious. And for whatever reason, I decided to take forever in trying to whack this thing. I don't know why. And the most fearsome enemy of all! A rock. You can actually ride on these rocks. And you're gonna have to for some of the segments in this level. But the rocks will return, don't you worry. In fact, this whole level, this whole world is all about rocks. I could make a reference to a certain popular rock, but let's go ahead and go in a cavern, see? There's spiders here. What did you think there would be in a dank cave? Also, sometimes these stalactites will fall on you, so you might want to be careful, and I have no idea how to get that pipe. Also, hello, YouTube bitrate killing waterfall, and the return of rock. But don't be like me and slip onto the spikes like an idiot. But yeah, this will be the only time we see bitrate killing waterfall, so say goodbye to it, and this is one of the tougher gates to try and get the top of. In fact, this is the only one I fail, I'm going to tell you right now. Because wonky platforming. Because taking the bottom gate just takes you to the next level. So if you don't want to bother with minigames, just take the bottom gate. And sometimes just be glad you did, because you're speedrunning. But yeah, the rocks are here in force. We have more bonus rooms with more coins, and this one also has a super mushroom in it. But I'm just going to skip right ahead and jump up over here. Hidden in one of these blocks is another one-up. And there's also spiders here too. Actually, I think that's like one of the only spiders in this level, so you're gonna need to crouch to be able to get through this part. And now we're in the temple itself. I lied about the bitrate destroying waterfalls. Here we are again. So mine the rocks, grab your super ball flowers, blah. And this upcoming boss is easily the hardest one to kill with the super ball in the entire game because dealing with rocks. Time it wrong, you're getting rocked. And speaking of getting rocked, flip on over in just a second here. I get pelted by a rock. Surely Princess Daisy's here now, right? Oh, let's be kidding. You know this ain't gonna be Daisy if you know the trend here. Hey, I like to have fun here, okay? And just gotta spice things up a little bit, and suddenly we're in China. Don't ask me how we got here. This is just how things are going. I don't mind the theming, though. But yeah, there's a lot of, like, narrow corridors and stuff throughout this level, and be careful. And mind the Chinese zombies. I don't remember the term for it. I apologize. I am what you call a dumb American. And yes, they can fall in pits. And there's only two ways to actually permanently get rid of them. Either hit them with super balls enough, or charge into them with a star. Those are the only two ways you're getting rid of these things. And that one in particular is a star I didn't actually know about, so I wanted to make sure I got that in the video. So yeah, take your star and run through this corridor. Otherwise, you're going to have to take it much slower. But yeah, eventually you're going to get a whole bunch of these things on screen, and you're going to either try and take care of them or get out of the way. And there's another hidden one up here too, so mind that, thank you. Also in the comments, if you tell me the actual, like, name for the Chinese zombies, I appreciate it if you do comment, thank you. Because on the Yoshi's story video, I did appreciate that one comment telling me about the one enemy. I'm like, what the hell is this thing? I do appreciate those types of comments. I see them. Even if I don't always respond, I appreciate it. Anyway, this second level here actually has rafflesia flowers. And there's like, this is weird. There's probably a different name for them, but that's what comes to mind. Don't mind the snake guy, and if you're super, you can take this top path. And you can, you know, super ball up. It's good fun. And now for the second part of the level here, we have this, like, I don't know, call it a castle structure, basically. Because we have these rotating balls here. Of course, they'll hurt you. But grab the star and just run through the level. It'll be fine. And now for the final gateway in the game. So if you'd please, Mario, let's go on in. Thank you. One more life for the road. And yup, we're in an airplane. Shooting down birds and stuff. Wahoo! Once more, there are only super mushrooms here to power you up, so mind that. We have one more one-up over here for good measure. Those mines can be destroyed by shooting them enough or running into them with a star. And then for the second part here, remember the walls. Pay attention as to not get crushed by the auto-scrolling. Anywho, we have one more coin hallelujah, so grab as many as you can, because they are very, very handy. And then mind your maneuvering, otherwise you'll be crushed, but it's not necessarily hard, as you can see. And then for whatever reason, this section has hands. It literally wants to throw hands at us. And a cloud boss? This seems a little inconspicuous, doesn't it? That was a phrase of words. Anywho, you explode now. Hi, Tatanga. We're gonna shoot you now. I take a hit, but if you just weave through the fireballs, eventually you'll land enough hits and you'll just make him explode, ending the game. Yeah, weird they decide to end a Mario game on a shmup boss, huh? Yeah. Now we've saved Daisy for real. Thank you, Mario. Yup, Daisy's first appearance in the franchise. Your quest is over. And then also, for whatever reason, we have a rocket ship. We gotta end off with something not so traditional for a Mario game. And now one of my favorite credits themes. Oh yeah. This was fun to play again. I've had enough fun with it. I recorded the Super Game Boy 1 playthrough. So, once again, if you go to the second channel, you'll be able to watch both of those. And if you ever want footage for whatever reason, you are more than welcome to go ahead and take it yourself. Just, give credit. Okay? But yeah, I just leave all the credits here because why not? So funny story though, I actually played this when I was a kid, but it was my brother's copy, so I eventually lost that version. And I didn't actually pick up a copy again until, I was on a trip for, making games and stuff. And there was this kid I bought Super Mario Land 1, 2, and Wario Land 3 off of. I forget how much I paid for them, but that was when I finally reacquired Super Mario Land 1. It was my first taste of Super Mario Land 2 and Wario Land 3, so there's that. Perhaps I might cover Super Mario Land 2 in the future, one way or another. But for Super Mario Land, it is the end. So I gotta say thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in another VHS Plays video. I'm a Nick, and with the title screen here with the top score, I'll be seeing you guys next time.